Hi, I'm Lucy James, and I listen to the One Up Gaming podcast.
Hi, I'm Keith Allen, and I play Murphy on Z Nation, and I listen to One Up Gaming podcast.
Welcome to our podcast. We've got a lot to say about all the latest games you're gonna wanna play. We'll tell you what's on Xbox, PS3, PC, and more. We'll chat about some random stuff till you're rolling on the floor. This is One Up Gaming. Sit back and grab a drink. It's time to give a listen to what we have to think.
Now then, are we ready?
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are we going to wait for anybody else, or is the time limit passed?
The time limit is passed. I have signed out of Skype. I'm exclusively in Zencaster, and it is episode 190 of the One Up Gaming podcast.
Oh, we've started.
And it's me, David, and we've got... I'm just going to look at that name and just marvel. We've got Wolfgang.
Hello, everybody.
It's amazing.
Hi.
And we've got Joey
What?
as well.
Hi, howdy.
So are you seriously
make it a
going to do howdy every time you're on?
Yep.
Two in a row.
I nearly missed it this time. I said hey, and then I was like, oop.
Gotta catch it. Gotta be a Texan.
So, Wolfgang, since it's your first time on the show, if you'd just like to say to our listeners a little bit about yourself, what you do, what's your favourite sort of games, things like that.
Sure. My name is Wolfgang Paulson. I am based in Los Angeles. I am a host and writer, as well as a stand-up comedian. Like video games a whole bunch, and I don't know, I like role-playing games a lot. I've logged like several hundred hours in Skyrim and that kind of thing. That's usually my speed. But lately I've actually been in Rainbow Six Siege. I've been going crazy on that game, like hours a day.
I got bored of that game so fast.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
It's so deep. There's so many operators. It's so good.
I don't like
played,
team-based games. I prefer the
Yeah.
old-fashioned, just every man for themselves.
You definitely have to like have friends that you play with, because if you like match with random people, there's a good chance that they'll be super annoying and ruin the game for you.
I don't have friends.
I played the old Rainbow Siege games, and I really enjoyed those, but I don't know how much I'd enjoy Rainbow Six Siege, because I was used to the other ones, where it was like, you gotta go in and kill everybody, like kill all the enemies. And
Well, so they
there's
still have that. They have modes that are called like Classic Terrorist Hunt, which is just exactly like the old, like super old, several decade old Rainbow Six game, but just with like new graphics and stuff. But yeah, it's true. The main gameplay of Siege is pretty different from the older Rainbow Six games.
Which the older Rainbow Six or Rainbow Siege games were pretty fun. Or
Yeah.
Rainbow Six, I don't remember.
I really
I don't know
enjoyed
what
Rainbow Six Vegas.
Yeah, that was the classic one. I think that was the big one. Was that the one where you could like map your own face and put it onto your operator?
Yes.
yeah.
That was great. That was a key feature that I feel like games are lacking these days. Is a ridiculous like 3D photo of yourself mapped onto a face of
And it looked really funny because if you had hair, it like stretched it over the back of your head and it looked quite funny.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Makes you look like you're bald the whole time.
But unfortunately, Call of Duty 4 came out a few months after and no one heard of Vegas since.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome to the podcast. As I say, it's episode 190. Yes, we've had over a hell of a lot of these podcasts now. I think we've been doing it about 4 years. Maybe 5 years.
I've done it 2 days.
I've been doing it for 4 minutes.
You say 4 minutes. It is now. But we started off... I mean, I've told this story before, but we literally started off the original podcast. I didn't have a microphone. I nicked my girlfriend's dictaphone, and I read out like the segments, like every I think it was 4 sections, and then I just imported the files onto the PC, added bumpers into the middle of them and the starts, and that was the podcast for the first couple of episodes. And then I slowly introduced other people into the show, and we still have 1 or 2 that were from like episode 3 or 4 that are still around. They don't do much now, but it's a always moving, always evolving sort of show. So I mean, that's why I've taken on, I think, about 4 new people in the last couple of weeks, in the hope that, because we were starting to really lose a lot of the podcast sort of team. You know, there'd be like one person one week, then it'd be one other person another week, and it was just getting a bit hard to get a coherent sort of show going. So hopefully with some new faces, new talent, and it sounds as though, Wolfgang, it sounds like you've done a lot of stuff. You know, because how old are you? Like 21, 22-ish?
I'm 22. I just finished university, but all through university I was doing stuff. I was working on a web show called Trojan Arcade that was all about video games. So it was nice. Went to like a couple E3s, couple Indiecade, stuff like that. Meet industry people, interviews. It's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds amazing. I would love to go to E3, but just the actual travel to get out there, we got $2,000.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a trip for you. It's just down the street for me. So
yeah,
It's still a bit of a trip for me too. Like, I went to, my first convention was QuakeCon, and I did some press stuff there, and it was great. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you don't get used to right away. Like, there were people there that I had seen and watched for years, and I was at a party with them, and it was just like, oh my god, this is something new. And I was a mess. I was a mess at first, but then.
It's pretty overwhelming the first time you go to one of those things. It's like there's so much going on, you got to figure out. And the thing is, if you don't like have it quite wired and figured out just right, you'll spend the whole time like just waiting for stuff or like not getting anyone's attention. So you got to know like who to talk to, where to get your interviews. It's like, you know, you got to hack the system a little bit.
I remember I didn't start talking.
I'll sit back.
I remember I didn't start talking to people until after I got in a tweet from one of the people that I had that I had watched and stuff. Because like there was I don't know if you know the Achievement Hunter guys, but Jack and Jeremy were there, and I was like way too nervous to talk to anybody because I was new to the whole ordeal. And I put out a tweet where it was like, when you're at a party, that feel when you're at a party with so and so. And you're too nervous to talk to them, and then they said, come fight me. And that's what started my night. And I met a lot of cool people and stuff, and I'd love to do it again, so.
Yeah.
But that's not why we're here today. To talk about this.
No. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I went to a retro event, because for me, retro's not retro, it's just what I grew up with. And I sort of like, the only thing I played was, they had Social Soccer was there, which was like a spiritual successor to Sensible Soccer, which was one of my all-time favourite games. I played that. I put the 3rd best lap time on Sega Rally on the Sega Saturn, so that was a good one. I've not played it for about 6 years, and I just went straight on and just blitzed it, which was fun. And then I went up to grab a bite to eat, and upstairs where the food was where the tabletop games were. And yes, I can say that a lot of the people up there, hygiene was not their first port of call. It absolutely stunk. But that was fun. Right where all the food was.
I had that at an E3 recently where I was like sitting in a demo just playing it, and this kind of bigger dude came up and played next to me. And then all of a sudden I started smelling, it smelled like old pickles. And I was like, oh my god, like is there like some weird food being served somewhere? Then I kind of like leaned over and took a whiff, and I was like, oh god, it's coming from this guy. And so that is a hazard you have to be aware of, is that at some conventions, some people just don't quite know how hygiene works, and so you gotta, take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
It was mostly like Bethesda people upstairs in the press area, so they were all pretty well mannered and hygiene, well taken care of.
They managed to bathe that morning.
Yeah, it wasn't like the people on the floor, which even the floor wasn't that bad. Like everybody was pretty well maintained.
Well, that was good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about like the bring your own computer section. The people who like live there. There was a rule that said you couldn't sleep if you were there. You weren't allowed to fall asleep at your spot, or you'd get kicked out. So you had to like leave to go. Which I guess that helped, because like people would just live there before, and they wouldn't leave until the convention was over. But yeah, that was fun. So what do we have on the agenda today?
So on the agenda today, we are going to be talking worst game of the year and our overall top 10. So I am just adding a couple of little bits onto here.
On
our list.
For those who can't see, which you're probably not going to see because we've got like a little Google Doc with all the wonderful games that we've thought up.
Well, the
which I haven't.
And the not so wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the wonderful and not so wonderful.
Quite a good number of games this year that were not too nice.
There's quite a bit that were good though.
Oh yeah, there's always good games. It's just I honestly thought that a lot of the shovelware dross had dried up.
All of the what?
The rubbish.
Oh.
The crap. Just like the Wii shovelware that came out on the Wii, just all the really bad. It's crap, but we'll ship it just to try and make money.
Yeah.
Right. It seems weird that there's room for that in the industry, that it doesn't die out on its own, but they keep existing.
I thought once the Wii died off, they moved over to the mobile phone sort of market. All the shovelware was just shoved straight out onto that.
Yeah.
But now a lot of the mobile games are getting ported over to like PS4 and the PC, and that's not good.
The mobile games that get ported over is like, why? People just try to make money off that, and then it's just terrible.
I bought a game. It was like a Formula 1 racing game. It was only about 80 cents, so it wasn't expensive. And I started playing it, and the control pad, it allowed me to press left and right to turn left and right, but it wouldn't accelerate or brake. I had to use the up and down keys on the keyboard. And there was no way to customize the buttons.
Oh my god, that sounds terrible.
And it was only like a quarter of the screen sort of size, so they hadn't even upscaled the actual screen. It was just like, literally was a mobile phone shoved on the side of the screen. So that was fun. Anyway, worst game. Should I read through some of the game names, and then you guys, if you want, you can YouTube them or anything that you don't recognise.
Sure.
So I
remember like 3 bad games.
Have you added
The
them
only
to the
one I
list?
really remember is
They're already on the list.
Was Mighty Number 9, and I just remember that because it came out and everyone was talking about how bad the launch was, and then the official Sonic Twitter, like the official Twitter handle for Sonic, tweeted out like, "Nice launch, Mighty Number 9, better than nothing," and it like blew up, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" Like the official Sonic Twitter is like just laying into Mighty Number 9 because like the launch was so laughably bad.
Oh my god!
But I never
Yeah.
actually got my hands on that one. I just heard about it.
I got it.
when other companies.
I got it. I've played it.
Yeah, was it as bad as everyone says it is?
I wouldn't say it's bad. It just...
It wasn't good.
Do you know games like 3-4 years ago when Unity first started making Unity games, and they were the really low budget, no detail, no, like graphics.
It's more like,
and
it's
it just
more like
looks
a sort of test of what it could do.
It just looks so basic. It's just weird how that could take 3-4 years to make.
Yeah.
But
It was like early PS3 games versus like older PS3 games or newer PS3 games. Which PS3 was like, they really showed how far you can get with a console.
But mate, I would say Mighty Number 9 would almost run on the PS2. That's how it looks, like that sort of style of game.
Yeah, how
Like-
demanding on a system can a game like that be if it's 2D and the graphics aren't even that good, right?
Well, it's not even 2D. They didn't want to do 2D because it was too expensive, so they made 3D sprites onto the game, and that's what spoils the whole thing. Because a lot of 3D games on a 2D plane, the physics are all wrong. The jumps high and floaty.
Yeah.
That's why I hate the... Oh god, what the hell's it called? The PlayStation... It's got a Sackboy in it.
The Vita?
No, the platform game.
Oh, Little Big
Little
Planet.
Big Planet. I hate that game so much.
I love Little Big Planet. They did the 3D aspect really well.
Now, to me, it's too slow and too floaty, and it just doesn't work as a platform game.
Well, like, it was more, I thought of it more as a creative sort of game. Like, you build stuff.
Yeah, but
that you
I
want to
buy
build.
games that other people have created so I can have fun. I don't want to make my own game. That's just my opinion. Anyway, back to the list. Miko Mole, which was a PSN game for the PlayStation 4. And this game, we got sent about 5 codes to give out to people. And I used one to review. It was so bad, I gave one to someone else to review. And they refused to review it. Now, this game, again, it looks like a PS2 game. And it's a 3D sort of game, but on a 2D plane. And it's bad. It is so bad. I don't
Yeah,
know
I'm
if you
watching
guys
it
want to
right
have a
now.
quick look at it.
It looks really just very boring and basic. It looks like...
Yeah, it's very slow.
Yeah, I'm amazed at these graphics compared to like what you can see on the PS4 and even like what was on the PS3. Like, this looks ridiculously basic. It looks like a mobile game.
Yes, I
was
think
it
it
called?
probably was. Miko Mole.
Miko Mall?
Mole. Like the animal that digs underground.
Oh.
Please excuse
I mean,
my
I think
Yorkshire
it's-
accent.
Yeah, I'm doing that thing where when you hear an accent, you're tempted to mimic it. I keep having to tell myself to not try to mimic your accent. It's very distracting. Yeah, the interesting thing about this game I'm seeing is that, like, so it's about a mole, which the cool mechanic of that would be digging, but he seems to have a propeller on his back and is flying the whole time.
Yeah.
So it seems like the gameplay isn't really even, like, based off of the fact that
Yeah.
he's a mole. He's flying
Oh,
everywhere.
it looks, oh my god. Yeah, this game doesn't look very great. Because, like, they tried the 3D thing, which certain games have done it before. Like, they could pull off that, but when you have the rounded edges like that, I feel that sort of kills what you're going for. Because it makes it look like you're going to fall off the side of a 2D map the whole time.
Yeah, so I was very unimpressed with that game, put it that way.
Yeah, I can understand why you would be.
So the next game that I've wrote down was MXGP2, which is a motocross game, and it was on PS4, Xbox One, all those sort of things, and again, I think this sort of genre of game hasn't had the money put into it. So it's basically the PS3 engine ported over to the PS4 and just added a little bit of the lighting effects to it. And it doesn't play very well.
It looks
like
these
pretty
kind of
decent.
games.
I'm watching it now. I mean, it looks alright. Is it just the way it handles? It just feels kind of weird. Or
Yeah, just the handling just didn't feel right. It's one of those things where Jimmy just can't explain how. It's just
the physics look pretty off. It looks like the gravity is kind of wonky, and like the weight of the bike and stuff aren't really very realistic.
Yeah,
it looks like.
I saw a screenshot of this game, and I thought like it looked really nice.
I think the PC version it'll look absolutely stunning, which is probably
nice
what they'll show, in all their pictures.
Yeah, it looks nice in the trailer, and it looks like. It seems like if you put a lot of money into this game and like a lot of time, you could get a great game out of it. Because like some racing games have done that, where they put a lot of money and stuff into it, and it can't come out like perfect.
But I think the developers know that the MXGP sort of series doesn't sell massive, so they're just using the same assets, the same engine, and just adding a couple of new bits and bobs to it each year, not really improving it. But,
yeah.
I mean, it must sell if they keep doing it. But, so, you guys, you're not as hot on that one as you were for the first game. This next game, our reviewer gave it 1 out of 5. And he basically didn't want to give it 1. But I said, well, we have to have a 1. And the game came out, it's a soccer game. Kick-off in the UK in 91, 92 sort of time, so like before you guys were born, was the best soccer game you could actually buy. It was amazing. And this, Dino Dini, is the creator of Kick-Off. So I was mega excited when Dino Dini said he'd got the Kick-Off rights back and he was doing a brand new game for PS4. And I was super excited. I actually got a review copy sent, but I went out and bought the game, so I actually had a box for it, because I wanted it to have, and I gave the review code to someone else. I played the game. It only had 32 teams to choose from. It had no offsides, it had no yellow cards, no red cards, it had no injuries. It was a bare bones experience of a game. And when our review went up on the website, a lot of the Kick-Off Revival fans, proper, and I mean proper, tweeted like hundreds of tweets at us about how bad the review was. And then they were saying, oh, the game is going to get updated all the time. Are you going to re-review the game every time there's an update? It's like, we physically can't do that, because then we'd have to do that with every single game. We have to review the game once the developers and the publishers said that's the finished game to review. And they didn't like that either.
Right, I mean, that only seems fair. If, like, the people who make a game are like, this is ready for the public, then, like, it's ready to be reviewed as well. I'm watching the gameplay now. It looks pretty... It doesn't look terrible, but it looks very simplistic. It looks like a Flash game you would find, like, on a games website, like addictinggames.com or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of glitches in it as well. So, say you shoot towards the goalkeeper catches it and dives behind the goal, so it's like, it's a goal, but then he just gets up and walks out of the goal, and it doesn't count it as a goal.
Oh my god, this game, just looking at it from like what I've seen, and I've seen about like 3 seconds of it, oh my god, it looks like a mess. The graphics are non-existent.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I think the player movement when you're moving and with the ball and passing, that's quite good. It feels good. But the computer, because there's no offside, just does a high ball punt, and your defenders are at the halfway line, so the ball lands, and he's like one-on-one with the keeper every single time. And that's annoying. So, moving on. The Rubik's Cube game for the Wii U and 3DS.
There's a Rubik's Cube game.
Yes. we got sent both codes, one for the Wii U and one for the 3DS, because they weren't sure what we'd like better.
That's amazing. So, how do you make a full video game out of just a toy that you can only do one thing with, which is like solve?
It had a lot of videos for tutorials.
It was just like the Rubik's Cube, and did it even have a real Rubik's Cube in it?
Yes.
Like, could you solve a Rubik's Cube?
It had to be on the Wii U or the 3DS, because you had to have the touchscreen to actually rotate. You know, you drag the cube around and then you'd move it.
Oh, right.
Oh my god.
I'm seeing that they have the classic 3x3 cube, but they also have a 2x2 cube for beginners, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a feature. Now, can either of you guys solve a Rubik's Cube in real life?
Nope.
I have done years and years ago, but I can't remember the last time I've even seen a Rubik's Cube in real life.
Yeah, they go in and out of style. I actually taught myself how to solve one in high school, and I can still do it, which is a great party trick. It comes in very handy occasionally, I'll tell you. I can't imagine spending money on a video game to simulate it when you could just buy the real thing, though.
That's what got me. Because the game was about $10 or $20, but you could buy Rubik's Cube for like a couple of dollars.
Yeah, you could buy it for like $3 at like a toy store.
And then you've got like a full 3D physical thing to actually have in your hands, which is more fun than clicking a button on a bloody screen.
Exactly.
You have a lot faster reaction time too whenever it's your hands moving it, not like a stylus. Because you can only move once at a time with the stylus, it seems. But like you could spin two things at once with, I don't know, it's just, it seems like it'd be a lot easier to just pay less money for a Rubik's Cube. And you said there was like instructional videos and stuff?
Yes, when you went on the actual game, you could go into like tutorials, and it had like videos showing you how to hold the cube, how to rotate it, and it was quite funny. It was like hold it with your middle finger, so then you're not like distracting from this outer edges, and you always hold it and rotate in a circular motion. It was very weird.
Sounds like a mess.
Yeah.
So,
what else?
I think that one's had a lot of people not liking that one. So I will put stars on ones that I think I've had the best negative response to. So the next one is Realms of Arcania Star Trail.
So this one, it looks the first person parts of it look like just a terribly graphic Skyrim knockoff. The way you kind of move around.
So you are watching the remake, not the original one from '93 or something.
Yeah, it says PC gameplay HD from November 2016.
What was
So, I
the
mean,
game
like
name?
Realms of Arcania Star Trail. The top-down isometric, looks like turn-based fighting kind of. Looks like the gameplay might be kind of interesting.
It's
but
not.
also kind of slow and janky at the same time.
I've got a copy of the game. I was going to do some videos. I think I put a video up, and I went into a village, and I was knocking at doors, and then a character, a creature, had opened the door and started saying, "What you doing?" And out of the 5 doors, 4 were the same design, and there was one different one. So it just seems as though it's a bit low budget.
You know a game's great when the trailer only goes up to 420 or 480p.
You don't need any more than that. Redundant pixels.
Who needs those extra pixels anyways? They just
I know.
run away.
Now, so do you know if the original was well received, like 20 years ago?
I'd never heard of it, but I played the original game because when you actually install it, it installs the original one as well, and I think the original plays better.
I believe it. This looks pretty rough.
Isn't that how most remakes go? Like, they remake it and then it's just not as good as the original?
Yeah, I think sometimes. I think when they did that with GoldenEye, people actually liked the remake quite a bit, though.
Yeah, I enjoyed the remake of GoldenEye.
I don't think I've ever played it.
But it's true. A lot of HD remasters they kind of lose something along the way that the original had.
You've never played the remake of GoldenEye or GoldenEye in general?
I used to play GoldenEye, the 64 game, all the time, but I've never played the remake.
I could never get past the cradle level, like the last level. I always ended up like falling off the edge. But then again, I haven't played it since I was like 8.
Oh, you people are so young. So, Metroid Prime Federation Force. Now, I don't know if this game, because I don't have a 3DS, I sold mine, because I decided that I didn't want to play rubbish games anymore. And so I've not played this game, it's just after all the negative press that it got. So I'm not sure if it's a bad game with the Metroid Prime license shoved on it, or if it's because it's not a Metroid Prime game and people didn't like that.
So I never played the original Metroid Prime, but I heard very good things about it, because that was the first Metroid game to go first person, right? That was like a really big move for the series.
I played Metroid Prime, well, I've got Metroid Prime 1, 2 and 3 on the GameCube, I think it is. Or is it 1 and 2 on the GameCube and 3 on the Wii? I can't remember. But I did play Metroid Prime Hunters, which came out for the... I think that was was it on the DS? Which was quite a fun 3D first-person shooter.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never actually played Metroid before.
Yeah, I really only know Samus from the Super Smash games.
But you people are American, you love the Metroid series.
It's true.
Well,
it's a big country, so you can't just lump us all together into a Metroid group. But I mean, the gameplay I'm seeing looks like pretty standard. It doesn't look exceptionally exciting, but it looks like a fun game. But it looks like maybe it's just like less of a Metroid game than people wanted, and that was why it was received negatively.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were all getting the hopes up for a full Metroid game for either for the Wii U or for the Switch, and then when they showed this, they were like, "Oh my god, that looks pants."
Yeah.
And
so
then
that looks pants.
Yeah.
Cool. Just checking. Yeah, making sure I heard you right.
I'm English.
Right.
It looks knickers, right?
Ah, yeah, much more clear. Thank you. Knickers indeed.
So
I've heard someone say like tippers once.
Tippers?
It looks tippers.
I've not heard that before.
It's such a weird thing, but I don't know.
So Homefront,
sort of...
the Revolution. Now I think I don't think this is bad as in bad, because it went through like 4 different developers and they actually managed to get not a bad game out. It was just not a very good game, if that makes any sense.
Is it like a first-person shooter RPG, or what kind of game is this?
Did you play the original Homefront?
I did not, no.
It's just a first-person shooter, as in Call of Duty. But in the original, Korea had invaded, or you invade Korea, I can't remember. No, Korea invades the United States. And then in this one, it picks up after Korea's taken over. And you actually have to fight them, I don't know, but it's basically, it's just feels like a low budget sort of, and there was loads of bugs when it first came out, like it'd crash and freeze, but it's just a standard first person shooter that's just not very fun.
Right, it looks pretty. It looks kind of just like a less good, like Modern Warfare kind of is what I'm seeing.
Just
Was
in the
there-
trailer.
Was there multiplayer in this game at all? Do you know?
I believe there was, but because the original was basically sold on the multiplayer.
Right, but it's
Just in
just
the trailer. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it's just like a less good Call of Duty, basically, is what it looks like.
Just in the trailer, like 2 people got blown up by the same grenade, and both of them had the same dying animation, but it wasn't like what you'd expect from a grenade. It was just them sort of falling to their knees, and it's just like
Yeah.
Like, it
Stuff
was
like
just-
that takes you out of it.
Yeah, whenever you see a whole crowd of people die the same exact way, it's like, wow. It really throws you off.
Yeah, so
Now the thing is, like, yeah, like should a game like this, be in the same list as like Miko Mole, for example? Like, I mean, this looks like, at least like a real game that looks like
Yeah.
it looks good, and like it should at least have come out in 2016. Well, maybe 2015 or 2014. But it
maybe
looks pretty
2012. Yeah, maybe as a launch game for the PS3.
good. Right.
But yeah, that's what I mean. It's a 5. It's not a it's not like a 2 or a 1. It's just an average sort of game.
Yeah, but it didn't live up to the expectations that it was met. Like, this was one of the games where it was sort of like it was meant to do well, but it didn't.
Well, to be fair,
the first one was-
the original Homefront was supposed to be amazing, and it only got middling sort of scores.
But still, it
I
looks
think-
better than this one.
People liked the idea, and they just didn't execute it on the game.
Yeah, it just looks like it doesn't live up to what you'd expect it to be. So
Moving on to another Nintendo game. God, they love this list. And it's Star Fox Zero for the Wii U.
Now, I never played this one, but I remember when they were first showing it at E3, and people were very excited about it. There was like a whole bunch of monitors just running this game, and they were showing off how it had, like, with the Wii U gamepad, you could like go into like a first-person shoot thing from there, and then you could like go back to the third-person controlling of the jet. It looked like a really good game. So I'm curious as to why it made this worst of list.
Right. For a start, I don't like the fact that they've changed the name 3 times in the UK for the series.
What would have been the names?
The original for the SNES was Star Wing, and then for the 64 it was changed to Lilac Wars, and then when it actually came for the GameCube it was then changed back to Star Fox.
I can see how that would be very confusing.
Yeah,
how do I
but
post pictures in this? I got a screenshot of the trailer, and it's like this one screenshot shows how it could be. Here we go. This is so bad.
it's like with the Star Fox Zero, I think it was Platinum Games who made it. And with Platinum Games, you normally get either the A team or the B team making a game. Now, on this list, I haven't included the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that they made, because I actually really enjoyed it.
It looked like it was pretty good.
It's a mindless 4-player hack and slash game, which, what do you expect? But I preferred it a lot more than the Transformers game they made the year before, but for some reason the reviewers loved that game and they hated the Turtles game. But anyway, with this Star Fox game, it looks as though they tried to emulate the Nintendo 64 version. So the game itself, all the ships are all made out of triangles, and they lack detail and definition, and it just looks horrendous. Yeah, that picture looks good.
I see. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
The shape of the ships, like, it kind of worked when it was limited graphically and had to be just like a number of large polygons. But it does look kind of silly on the Wii U now that it's like oversimplified, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like, they try to go for the retro look, and it doesn't work out so well, because it's obvious that they're trying to do it. When you try to get low poly stuff, and it has great lighting.
But what made it worse is when the game was first shown off, it had the low poly sort of ships, the low detail, and it didn't have any of the lighting effects or anything in the background, so it looked very plain, which as a whole it worked because it was going for that style, but because of the negative press, Nintendo told them to add like the solar system sort of effects, like planets and asteroids and stars and lights in the backgrounds. So now you've got the juxtaposition of the actual background being very vibrant and colourful, and then this really basic ship that you're controlling, and it just clashes so badly.
It's like there's no in between. It's either you get like the low poly look, or you get the good quality look. There's no in between, or it looks bad.
Yeah. And I mean, the last thing that I will say about it is, if they'd have removed motion control from the game, because I don't know about you guys, motion control's fun for a while, but if you're sitting playing a game, I just want to have 2 sticks and buttons, and that's me perfect. Nintendo said that the game itself can be played without motion controls. They lied. Whenever you go into the mode to shoot people, it goes into the first person mode, and you actually have to use the motion control to aim and shoot.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable. There's no way to play without it.
You know, so, but to me, that's why it's just bad on so many levels. And, unlike a lot of games on here, it's Nintendo with a fairly high profile game. So, moving on. Umbrella Corps. Was it called Raccoon City or something?
Which was the newest Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, the Resident Evil. Basically, it was like Rainbow Six. What was the Sony one? The 6-on-6 sort of like army sort of game.
Rainbow Six Siege?
No.
The one that we were talking about before this?
No.
This gameplay, from what I'm seeing, it kind of looks like a bad Dead Space kind of. The like over the shoulder third person kind of thing. Or like Gears of War, maybe.
No, but
I mean, I know some of the older ones.
Yeah, but this is just a multiplayer-focused shooting game. It's not
so
really.
It has none of the feels of.
Yeah, it's not really a
got none of the
Resident
feels of the
Evil
older
game. It's just literally you fighting them, and then occasionally a monster will come and attack you. That's computer controlled. You're fighting. You're basically either the Stars teams or you're the like renegade sort of people. So you either have to kill all the Stars people or you have to kill all them, and then the zombies will come in and try to kill everyone.
It definitely looks like the single player is not very like atmospheric or like scary. Like there's no horror to it. It's all like very well lit, and the zombies are kind of slow and unintimidating. It looks kind of boring.
Yeah, it's not a good game, but the worst thing about it is a simple fact, because it's basically like made as an online focused game, there's no one playing it.
That is crucial to an online game experience, is to have other people to play with.
Yes. So, but I will say, technically speaking, it's not well made, but it's playable and works and all that. It's just the fact that it shouldn't have anything to do with Resident Evil at all. No one's playing it online, and it's just boring.
Yeah, I see that.
I see we're saving the best for last.
Now, the last game on the list that we've got, just double check. Yeah, the last game on the list is Mighty Number 9.
Yeah,
Which...
That's the one. That's the infamous one.
The infamous Mighty Number 9.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but when this was first announced, they were like, yes, we are going to bring the Mega Man formula kicking and screaming into the next millennium or whatever. And when I got sent the game to review, in the press release it basically said, as you may well be aware, the game has been touted as a Mega Man successor. This is not the game we've made. We've made our own game that's nothing to do with Mega Man. I said, well, wait a minute, you've just spent 3 years saying you're making the next Mega Man. You know, so...
This game doesn't even hold a candle to Mega Man, though. Like, oh my god, just looking at it, it looks... it reminds me a lot of that, what was it, the mole game?
Yes.
What was it?
I reviewed it, and I said, to me, it reminds me of a low-budget mobile game.
Yeah, you could definitely control it with like just a touchscreen because it's just like jump and shoot.
Yeah.
But it looks like, because I remember what was nice about the Mega Man games was like how tight the controls felt, and it was like very responsive, and you could like I don't know, just like it was very intuitive the way like you could feel how far you're going to jump and how your shots are going to go. And this looks like it's kind of a little more like off kilter and weird and you know, less balanced.
The jump is what throws me off the most. Like, it's such a small jump. And on one of the parts on the trailer that I was watching from the Deep Silver thing, he jumps and hits the ledge. It wasn't high enough. And, like, you have to be really close to the ledge to actually make it up it. And I feel like that just throws off the whole rhythm of the game. Yeah. Like, it's just the little things that throw it off.
Yeah.
Throws it off immensely and do it right.
It doesn't look like actively terrible, much hate it got, but I think given the fact that it like tried to have the connection to Mega Man and then didn't, and was as hyped as it was, like I get why it was received so poorly.
So when did Mighty Number 9 come out? Oh, here we go. Mighty Number 9 review code available. So I got it on the 17th of June. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I want to say...
So it was embargoed until the 20th of June at 8:01.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Codes available for Xbox One, PS1, PC. Fill out the details below. Right, so that's where.
Also, another thing I'm noticing about this trailer is that they're really relying on this dash button. Like, it's not a full... It's like a short burst of a dash, but like every bit of the trailer they were dashing. And
that's what I did a lot, to be honest.
It still looks like it's really relying on that, and it's... I don't know. Those kind of games where you just dash everywhere. Yeah. I don't know, this game still doesn't look great, in my opinion. Which is probably why it's on this list.
I think... After talking with you guys, I think out of all the games on the list, there is 4 that stand out as being really, really bad. And that's Miko Mole, Dina Dini's Kickoff Revival, Rubik's Cube, and Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, I feel like, especially Rubik's Cube just jumps out to me as like a game that like didn't need to exist.
Yes.
Like, that didn't need to get... Like, no resource needed to be put into the making of that game, and no one should have spent money on it. Like,
that's why I've requested the review code, because I was like, I have to see this. I would not buy this, but I have to see this.
Right, yeah.
The Miko Mole on this list seems like the worst to me. Because they tried the 3D platformer, 2D sort of thing, and just completely fail.
I think it actually plays worse than Mighty Number 9 as well. Just that Miko Mole, yeah, it was horrible.
But like the Rubik's Cube one, there's been games like that are like, eh. Like it's just sort of a game to pass time. more or less. I mean, I don't see why you don't just buy a normal Rubik's Cube, because it's not going to die on you.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn, and, I don't know, you don't have internet or something...
So, I've taken Dina Dini's Kickoff Revival off the list. So we're left with either the Miko Mole, Rubik's Cube, or Mighty Number 9, as we're going to have the worst game and then 2 runners-up.
I still don't think the Rubik's Cube one should be the worst game, I guess.
I mean, it depends how you want to define worst, right? Because, I mean, it looks like it's accomplished what it set out to do.
Yes.
Which is a Rubik's Cube game. I mean, yeah, and the graphics were smooth and nice.
Not on my Wii U, it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah, I guess. But, like, I mean, like... And Miko Mole, I think, looks objectively less fun than Mighty Number 9, but Mighty Number 9 had a much more high-profile failure, whereas I'd never heard of Miko Mole before today. Whereas, like, Mighty Number 9, like, that was famous for being bad, right? So is that, like, almost more deserving of the terrible title than the game Miko Mole, which no one had heard of?
That it had, like, it had a bigger expectation, sort of.
I'll tell you one thing. The month that Mighty Number 9 came out, Dino Dini's Kickoff came out as well, and they had the top 5 games of the month. Mighty Number 9 was 4th, and Kickoff Revival was 5th for games of the month. So technically, Dino Dini's Kickoff was lowered on the scale than Mighty Number 9.
I don't know. In all honesty, I'd prefer to play like a crappy soccer game than that game. Because at least you're getting some enjoyment out of it. I don't know, I'd enjoy that more than a crappy platformer.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I think
you can get...
I think Rubik's Cube is on the list, but only as one of the runners-up, because it's just a pointless game.
Yeah. It's like Sawing Simulator. It's just not... Why would you make it? You see here, you move back and forth, and you do it for hours. You'll love it, don't worry.
So, basically what we've got left is Miko Mole, which is an abomination of a game, totally not fun to play. Or we've got Mighty Number 9, which technically is a better game, but the budget, the expectations, the Kickstarter, the 3 years of development, the massive expectations of a new Mega Man game all came crashing down.
Just from looks, though, I still support the Mighty Number 9 over Miko Mole, because, oh my god, does Miko Mole look bad.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my god, it just hurts to look at.
I think, like, if I was told I would sat down in front of a screen and I had these, 3 games and was like, you gotta play one of these for a couple hours, or, I would, definitely want to play Miko Mole the least. I would be okay doing either two.
Yeah, I think Mighty Number 9, it's not great, but it's playable.
Yeah.
Whereas Miko Mole is just... totally unplayable, just about. So, I will do that. So, I think that's a winner, or a loser, or whatever you want to say. So, Miko Mole is the worst game of the year, followed by Mighty Number 9, with Rubik's Cube as a worthy third place. It's been a bad year, hasn't it?
No, it's been a good year for games. It's just the games that are bad are really bad.
Actually, you say that, but when I look back at the games I've played this year, unlike normally, there's a good 3, 4, 5 games which I think they're amazing. This year, there's games that I think have been good, but nothing's really jumps out as outstanding.
It was the year of overhyped games, is what I'm going to call it. Because, there was a lot of overhyped games.
Yeah.
Cough, cough. the one that everybody knows.
No Man's
I won't
Sky.
say it right now. Yeah.
Right, well, should we move towards the best games now?
Yes.
There's a
What
lot
we
more
think
good
is-
games than
So-
there are bad games, which is good.
Basically, someone put Formula 1 2016. Whoever that was, I like.
Hi. Hey, that was me.
So, we are now going to do our overall top 10 games list, and we are going to try to get 10 games, and then we're going to try to order them. So that should be fun.
Dang. It's going to be a lot of work.
Nah, I'm easygoing.
So
So,
first up on the list is...
should I just read through the game names and then...
Yeah, and then we should just throw out what we think is deserving of the prize. Probably don't have to go one by one.
So,
Yeah.
I will read through the entire list. There's quite a long sort of list. There's Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, Severed, Doom, Dishonored 2, which I don't believe should be there, Forza Horizon 3, which I adore so much, FIFA 17, Gears of War 4, Watch Dogs 2, don't know why that's there, Inside, Firewatch, The Witness, Dark Souls 3, because Matt loves it, Overwatch, Battlefield 1, No Man's Sky, Quantum Break, which I actually had probably the most fun this year playing a game. That was the game I loved. Pokemon Sun Moon, Hitman, Fury, Salt and Sanctuary, Darkest Dungeon, Hyper Light Drifter, I've never heard of it but Matt loves it, Final Fantasy 15, and Formula 1 2016. So is there any other games that we think we can quickly add to that list? Or do you think that's... I think that's a good sort of like list to go with.
I think I put... Like, I did a personal list of my favorite games, and Formula 1 2016 got, like, 4th, I think, on it. It
Wow.
was... I loved it. Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't really play racing games, but I'd never even heard of that one up until right now. Whereas I'd heard of all the rest of these.
It's... I'm really big into Formula 1 in general, so having a game where you had a career mode of, like, you were a driver, and you had a season, and you could do, like, 200-plus races, and, like, be traded to different teams, it was just... Oh, my God, it was heaven.
I see. Big on the real racing culture of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
There's a lot.
I would start off by just insisting. So I don't even play Overwatch, but like the level of like cultural icon that game has become over this year, like I think it definitely deserves to be in the top 10 because that has like shaped like online FPS gaming like more than any other game this year, I think.
Yeah.
Like
I feel...
I'm never not hearing about Overwatch, you know, like people are talking about that shit all the time.
And you never hear anything bad about Overwatch either.
Yeah, exactly. The people who love it like really, really love it.
I think it's
And,
very
like, even-
generic.
Really? You'd have to back that up. I feel like people say that thing is like it's like genre defining is what people call it.
But again, I don't do team fighting sort of first person shooter games.
Right, you're not into cooperating with the squad.
Yeah.
What was it you told me last podcast? Watch what you say. You're gonna have like fans fighting you. Because I insulted The Walking Dead, and now you're insulting like one of the biggest games. Don't worry, we'll go down together.
Don't worry about it.
People get really into Overwatch. It's true.
But I feel Overwatch is well deserving of it.
Yeah, I think so. What about
And-
Pokemon? Did you guys play the Pokemon this year?
No, but I heard it's...
I played it about 25
I
years ago.
heard
Has it changed much? I don't think it has.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
I think this
It's
most recent
changed.
one finally changed a lot. So I played like Red version back in the 90s and really liked it. Then I didn't play any, and then I played I want to say Black version on the DS and was like, oh my god, these graphics are amazing. But it's pretty much the same game. But then what I saw coming out of Pokemon Sun and Moon, although I did not play it, it looks like they actually did change it up quite a bit. There were like new gameplay mechanics as far as like just moving around the overworld and all this different kind of battling and stuff like that, and like Z moves. So I feel like this one really changed it up a lot, and from what I heard, it was all for the better.
Because I've played the last one that was on 3DS. I don't even know what it was called.
Is that X and Y?
Yes.
The Omega. There's the Omega Ruby one.
No, that doesn't count.
Like that.
Doesn't
but those
count.
were remakes.
Yeah.
It's
They're not
just
real
sort of an
games.
extension. I've played every game, every Pokemon game up to Omega Ruby. I haven't played that one yet, and I haven't played Sun and Moon. And there's a huge difference between like Red and X and Y, which X and Y was great. It was well worth playing. But Sun and Moon looks like they improved upon. So I don't know. I feel like it'd be, just from what I've seen, I feel it could be on this list.
So basically, for anyone listening, when we're talking about a game, I will add it to a separate list. So then we know when we've got 10 games that we like. Now,
did you guys play Firewatch?
Mm-mm. I've never even heard of it.
I'm going to add one anyway. Forza Horizon 3 looks stunning, plays amazing.
You guys are big on driving games, huh?
You see, a lot Forza Horizon 3 in my opinion. But that's because it's like open world stuff. I'm not big on the open world driving games.
I'm not big on open world. I think Burnout Paradise was one of the worst games I've ever played. But Forza Horizon 3, it melded everything perfect. You can do the next race by just going to the menu and selecting it, and it loads you into the next thing, or you can drive to the location. So you can either do it with a full open world, or you can just go to the next race on the menu.
I think I don't like open world driving games because the first one I played was The Crew. And The Crew wasn't a super great game.
I thought that wasn't okay, that bad. It wasn't great, but yeah.
Yeah. Which I feel that's why I don't like them. Because that's what my standards were set to in open world driving games. And I just never got behind it. And I saw that they were making an open world Forza game, which I think they've made a couple.
Yeah, 3.
But this one just looks like over the this one just looks over the top and everything.
But that's the style it's going for. It's basically using the Forza Motorsport engine, but adding a lot more arcadiness to it, so it's a lot more fun to play.
People are gonna get upset if I do this. I'm gonna do it anyways.
What?
There you go.
Yep.
You're gonna put No Man's Sky in the top 10?
So as we've been talking, because of Matt, who fought tooth and nail for the original Dark Souls when it came out, I've added Dark Souls 3 to the list because he loves that so much.
I feel it belongs on the list because it looks like a great game.
It's
and I've
really
only heard good things about it.
Or Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 3.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry. Yeah. Aren't those games? I don't know. Their selling point is that they're just crushingly hard, and like you have to like become an absolute expert to even progress in the game, right? And you like get a sense of accomplishment from like just. The
thing is, I don't know if they've dumbed it down or whatever, but I was playing it, and I didn't get killed off any of the people trying to kill me. What killed me was I'd accidentally occasionally walk off the edge of the cliff.
Huh.
You know, like you have like a roll sort of move, and whenever you're doing the roll animation, you can't get hit. So if anyone's near you just do the roll, and you don't get hit.
One of my favorite game clips is from Dark Souls, and it's someone fighting a boss, but like the boss falls off the edge, and that's how they beat the boss. So they're looking over the edge, and then a skeleton comes spinning out of nowhere and knocks him off the edge, and he dies. And it's just like the most well-timed events, and that's what I remember Dark Souls as. Is you take a break and then die.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, I'm going to add Quantum Break to the list. I don't know if you guys have played it.
I have, and I think it definitely deserves. I think it was like the cross of like episodic television with like a gaming experience that also had like cool new gameplay was like definitely like a very new thing, which I appreciate.
Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, I loved Alan Wake, but I felt it got a bit repetitive. Whereas Quantum Break, it felt like the movement and the action felt very Alan Wake-y, but with the time moves that he had, you could change things up and move things around, and it kept it going a lot more.
Yeah.
And
when did Superhot come out?
That came out in January, I think. So that can be on the list if you want the game.
I'm doing that because Superhot is a great game. Oh my god.
Superhot is a very good game, yeah.
But so, I don't know about you guys. A lot of people said that the TV aspect of it was the worst part. But after episode 2 onwards, I was really gripped with the characters and the story, and I felt it was really well done.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I liked that I could like just sit back and like
Yeah.
watch things unfold and like
Do
these
like
characters
an
get
hour
better.
of gameplay, and then you watch a 20-minute sort of thing, which I really loved that.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I feel Watch Dogs deserves to be on this list, like the Watch Dogs 2, because it looks great. Like, it's a big improvement upon the original Watch Dogs. And the fact that it's not grim, it's not a tiny map anymore. Or, like, the map wasn't tiny, but, like, there wasn't much to it, is what I'm saying. And there's a lot more to Watch Dogs 2 that Watch Dogs 1 didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, all around, it feels better to play, and it looks better. So it's just more enjoyable.
So I will start deleting games that we've added to the list, just so we can see clearly what's sort of left.
So neither of you guys played Firewatch? Because I liked
Nope.
Firewatch a lot.
No,
I
did not.
I really like games that are about like characters and interactions, and they got like, and like, you know how like in a game, like for example like in Halo, you have like the character of Cortana, right, who's like in your head and they're like your companion, you're always talking to them. And so in Firewatch you had that, you had like another Firewatchman who was on your radio and you're talking to them, but they made the interaction feel so like real and human that like you were very invested in that character, and you like were very like, you know, concerned for their well-being and stuff like that, which I thought made the game very like involved and engaging, you know. But that's the thing, is that's the kind of fruity stuff I'm into. I'm like, I kind of like when games get kind of like arty and story-ish like that. So
I mean, that does sound like my sort of game. 'Cause, I mean, that's why I like the Walking Dead, Telltale sort of games. Not for the gameplay, it's the story and what you do. And
yeah, those are like my favorite games, the Telltale Walking Dead games. The first one made me cry.
I can't cry. I think I'm dead inside.
The only game that got me to cry was Halo Reach, that's still one of my favorite all-time game. And I feel you might know the point if you've played the game. I think David knows, because David heard me talking about it last time.
Yeah, but as we've already said, I've got the memory of a fish.
Well, it's. I say it's spoilers, but like if you haven't played the game by now, I don't know if you will. Because like you can play it on the one with the reverse compatibility or anything, but there's other Halo games.
Buy the Halo collection.
When George died, that was the only time I cried in a game. I didn't even mean to cry. It was just like it wasn't like bawling. It was just like a tear shed, and it's like the dramatic sort of tear shed.
Is he the one that you leave on the spaceship and he throws you out down to the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty sad moment.
George was my favorite character, though, is the thing. I love George. And, oh my god. Getting all emotional.
Who was the one that just got... There was like a big, massive, dramatic video sort of thing, and then they were walking out of a tunnel or something, just got shot in the head.
That's Cat.
And it was just like... well, that was just random.
so sudden. Yeah, it's brutal.
But it's like they didn't have
The ending.
built her up enough to actually say, "Oh, she's dead. I don't care."
Well, she was like the edgy hardcore badass with the robot arm, right? That was like her thing. Yeah, you didn't actually like her that much. She was kind of a bitch, honestly. She was like kind of mean. You're kind of like, all right, yeah, she's dead. I'm over it.
I mean, like, everybody had that team aspect, but like the two people I didn't really care too much about were Kat and Jun.
Yeah.
June. What is his name? Jun or June? It's spelled like
Won't
Jun.
be John, will it? Because that's the Master Chief.
Not John. Jun, like Jun.
Is he Asian?
I don't know. You never see. Do you ever see Takeoff?
Yeah, you see all of them apart from yourself, I believe.
I don't remember seeing.
I can't
John.
remember.
I don't remember. Anyways, Halo Reach didn't come out this year, you guys.
Yeah.
So I think I want to add an indie game to the list, Inside.
Yeah, Inside was a very, very good game. I would definitely agree with that. I thought the way it like told a story through like very like roundabout means, and you kind of like discovered it as you like journeyed through it, and it like kind of kept twisting your expectations on its head. Kind of was like very masterful storytelling for a video game.
From on this list, the game I feel got most hyped, and like it was worth the hype, was Final Fantasy 15. Like, I've never played it, but from what I've heard from everybody else is that it's a great game, that it's worth playing, and it's just a great like sort of continuation of the series.
Do you like Monster Hunter?
I've never played it.
Because it seems to have taken a hell of a lot of cues from the Monster Hunter series with the new one.
Yeah, that was what I heard as well. Is that was what it felt like. But I don't know.
So
Battlefield 1's a good game.
I will just read through again the games still left on here. Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, Severed, Doom, Dishonored 2, FIFA 17, Gears of War 4, The Witness, Battlefield 1, No Man's Sky, Hitman, Fury, Salt and Sanctuary, Darkest Dungeon, Hyper Light Drifter, Final Fantasy 15, and Super Hot.
Yeah, there's still a lot of good games left.
I keep hearing the voice in my head from Super Hot. The guy just going, Super Hot.
Yeah, me too. It's impossible to hear the title and not hear that, I think. I would want to put, I'll just give you guys my ideas. I would want to get Uncharted 4 in there, and also Severed, and also probably Battlefield 1.
I feel Super Hot could make it into this list. Like, I've never thought about playing. Like, I've played it, and obviously I've played it. If I haven't, then you would know that I wouldn't have played it because I wouldn't be this hyped about it. But like, it's one of those games you don't really think about, but then you think about it, and it's just like, oh my god, that game was great.
Yeah, actually, I'd want Super Hot in there too. I think Super Hot, because it was so very different from anything that had been seen before.
Yeah,
So
and it took me back to the fact: have you ever played the Hotline Miami games?
yes.
Yeah.
I love those games, and so like the kind of similar feel of the like top down was very nice.
So I am going to use my power of the fact that I own the site and I pay all the bills. I'm going to veto Severed from the list.
Oh,
I did not like that game.
How come?
Because I got sent a code for my iOS and I was expecting... I don't know what I was expecting. And then it was just like, press forward, press forward, press forward. Hit these arms while they hit you. Turn round, turn round. It was just a really bad missed sort of game.
an update on our top 10 list. It is now at 12 games.
Oh, this is just like getting the best games and then we can whittle it down.
Oh, I thought this was the actual top 10 list. And I was like, wow,
Like,
our top 10 list has 12
there's still,
games on it.
I mean, to me, there's still... Ratchet and Clank looked amazing. The update was really superbly done. Gears of War 4 so much better than I thought it was going to be, but I wished they kept the tone of the E3 when they first revealed it, but then everyone hated it, so they went back to just making Gears of War again. The Witness is not my sort of game. I don't like puzzle sort of games, so that's why I wouldn't vote for it. No Man's Sky, I think it had so much negative press that it did not deserve. It was not the worst game ever made. I think Sony has a lot to answer for because it was their PR machine that pumped it. Then as soon as it came out, they just dropped it and ran away.
To be honest, I looked at the list of like the contenders for the top 10 and wondered why No Man's Sky was in there. Because I've never heard anything good come out of that game.
Yeah.
And I feel it definitely doesn't deserve a spot on this list.
But it's not going to get into the top 10, it doesn't, don't worry. Hitman, I don't know if you guys have ever played it.
I heard it's a hit, man.
I played Absolution, and I thought it was alright, but I heard that the new Hitman was kind of like, it felt less like a Hitman game because there were kind of like less varied options for you to complete each job. It felt like a little more linear.
Kind of, yeah. 'Cause it was like, go and kill this guy and then leave, and that was what it was. Which most of the normal ones were like that, but I don't know, it just doesn't have the same feel.
To me, Hitman Absolution went after the Tomb Raider, the Uncharted sort of making everything look amazing, and because of that, it lost a bit of the mix of what you could do. Whereas this game, it's going back to the Hitman 2 sort of feel, where it's a massive open world, and you can basically do whatever you want whenever you want. But the graphics, they're not the more PS3 sort, like low budget sort of feel. They're not quite up there with Absolution. But because of that, I think they've put the money actually making the full game. Whereas Absolution, it looks stunning, and it was, to me, Absolution was much more linear than this game. This game's much more open-ended.
Yeah. Because this is like an actual sort of open world sort of thing, I guess. Which the other ones were open world, but it wasn't like as much as this one, I guess. Because like now you've got like a giant building to explore. Or something that it depends on your level, but I feel this game was good. But still don't... I mean, like,
there's Fury. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
I hadn't heard of it, no.
It's basically like an indie sort of game where it's like a boss battle run sort of thing where it's just boss, boss, boss. And the music's absolutely stunning.
Oh, wait. Another game we didn't put on here, The Last Guardian.
Wasn't The Last Guardian kind of a disappointment after how long it's been in development?
I don't know. I've only heard good things about it.
No, it's a great PS2 game. I don't know what you're on about.
That's funny.
And then there's like Salt and Sanctuary, which is like a 2D Dark Souls, but why have that when we can have the full fat Dark Souls?
Right, exactly. Yeah, why dilute the experience for yourself?
Yeah, which, I mean, Matt loves the game. He really liked it.
I hadn't heard about it till like last podcast, whenever he was talking about it.
Yeah. And I mean,
I heard Doom was really... Huh?
I hated Doom. I really, really hated the remake of Doom.
It looked pretty good. I don't know, it just seemed... I don't know. It seemed like you had to be really into that specific thing. Like the thing where you just go in and kill everything, and that was it.
Which, that's my sort of game.
Type of shooter experience, yeah.
That's my game. I love just running into a room and shooting the hell out of anything. But, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't play the full game. I got the when it was like the free weekend on PS4, and it gave you the first level sort of for free, and it just, I'm not used to, even so-called corridor shooters now are a lot more open, whereas this, it just seemed very funneled, and you just kept going in a straight sort of line. But I don't know, it's... So is there anything that you guys would think we should move over from the list onto the numbered list?
I
don't think so. I
feel
think we've got
everything. Yeah.
So, I mean, the only games I would hesitate to sort of like maybe think of bringing over, Hitman and maybe Gears of War 4.
I was never really a big fan of the Gears of War thing. Like, I think Gears of War 2 was the one that I enjoyed, but that was about it. So, I don't know. I wouldn't put that in my top 10.
Right?
Yeah.
So, we will now try and get this into some sort of order. So, the 12 games we have picked so far is Formula 1 2016, Overwatch, Pokemon Sun and Moon, Forza Horizon 3, Dark Souls 3, Quantum Break, Firewatch is, Jesus Christ, Watch Dogs 2, Inside, Uncharted 4, Battlefield 1, and Super Hot.
You forgot Dark Souls.
Oh, Dark Souls 3, I'm sure I said that. Maybe not.
You said Dark and then went, Jesus Christ. Because you read Fire.
I think I jumped halfway down the list.
You went from Forza Horizon 3, which is in the 4th place spot, to Firewatch, which is the 8th place.
It's midnight
You just
here.
completely messed up reading.
My brain stopped working for a bit. Right then.
Oh my god, this is going to be so tough to choose, because all of these are great games, from what I've heard. Well, I know most of these are great games. But it's going to be so hard to choose.
Yeah. So I can't say anything about either of the racing games because I've never played either of those, and I don't really play racing games. But I feel like Uncharted 4 or Overwatch would probably be near the top for me.
I feel Formula 1 would be towards the top for me, because it's in my top 5 games of all time, so I'm going to be biased against it, or towards it, so...
Oh, there you go.
Right. I'll be easy for you, and I will remove Forza Horizon 3. So now we've only got 11 games on the list.
We just need to get rid of one more. I've never played Firewatch, Inside, or Quantum Break, so I can't really judge on that.
Right, so
you get
everyone, name a game that you would remove off this list.
Pokemon. I don't know. It's just the mobile or the DS sort of games.
I would
really
take
appeal to me.
Watch Dogs 2 off, I would.
I'd probably also take Watch Dogs 2 off.
So that's a 2-1 vote, so
Alright,
I guess we got it.
that's easy. Right, so we have 10 games.
Are we going to spend another hour putting them in order?
It won't take...
Satisfied that we have a top 10? Or are we going to order them 1 to 10?
Oh my god.
Right.
I mean, I've got time, I just don't know.
I will quickly do this to see how you guys think. Oh, well, it actually goes in order, I didn't mean that.
This is the order that's going to be in? Or is this...
Yeah, I was gonna do a quick thing to sort of...
It's so hard. There's like four games that I'd put towards the top, which are like Overwatch, Formula 1, Battlefield, and Dark Souls. Because I feel most of these games can't be the top, but like those four stand out immensely to me.
I'm just looking at the list and it's like, do you know when you look at the games and think they're all quite good, but there's nothing that stands out? Or is that just me?
Yeah, it's like they're all equally as good. Well, there's some games that are like a little bit not as good, I guess, a little bit worse.
Yeah, the problem is like the games that were by far my personal favorite and the games that I think like were like the planet's favorite are very different. Like I think Overwatch would jump out to me as a clear, like, to me at least, like as a clear like the world's favorite game this year. Like that, it's just so big. Whereas I love like Firewatch and Quantum Break would be my top two for sure. But neither of those were super big.
I've never played either, which is like, it really sways my vote on that. Because I've never played either, so I don't know what either is like. And you guys say it's good, but I personally, from seeing the trailers of Quantum Break, I didn't really enjoy it that much. But that was just from the trailers, so I don't know how the actual gameplay is. But I feel Overwatch was pretty good.
Word.
So I'm just doing something to see what you guys think.
I'm such a devilly rascal.
If other people can
for those
chat.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those who can't see, he's updating the list and putting them in order to see how we feel the order stacks out. And this is really tough for me, to be honest, like selecting a game, because all of these games are really good, and I've played most of them on this list, and it's just hard to, I don't know, it's hard to decipher. It's like picking which one of your kids is your favorite.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have kids, so I wouldn't know. It was metaphoric kids.
Right, yeah.
It's just,
the games that we...
long story short, they're hard to pick.
Yeah.
Which, Overwatch I played, and I've got a friend who plays it non-stop. I think he has like 300 hours in the game.
Yeah, I think people are really obsessed with that game and really log a lot of hours.
I
So,
really enjoyed
what
the
do you
beta
guys think of that as an order?
Battlefield below
Oh,
Sun
did
and
someone
Moon
put
is a
Formula
bit-
1 there? What was
Yeah,
there?
wait, Formula 1 is in there twice.
Yeah, someone's added it there.
I wonder who.
Oh,
I don't know.
Uncharted 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, that was... But I don't feel Battlefield goes under Sun and Moon, to be honest. Like, it wasn't a bad game, but I just feel that Battlefield was a little bit better than Sun and Moon.
Do you
Yeah, I'd
reckon?
probably
Which the
switch those
current-
as well.
The current list for the listeners is Overwatch, Quantum Break, Uncharted, for Dark Souls, Inside, Firewatch, Super Hot, Formula 1, Battlefield, then Sun and Moon. Which the switch just happened with Battlefield and Sun and Moon. And I feel Super Hot would go below Formula 1 too, but Super Hot was great, so they're just different games.
The thing
which
is,
hard to
it's
compare
like,
them to.
if it was my personal list, I wouldn't have Overwatch anywhere near the top. I understand the significance and the power that game's had this year. That's why I'm willing to push it. You know, so for you, Formula 1 is amazing, but
Yeah.
as a whole, you know, to represent the site, it wants to be on there because that's what our reviewers love, but
Yeah.
it's just
So
not.
We're just sort of looking at the views of the other people too.
Yeah.
Like, we're not just, this isn't just us. It's just sort of, I don't know how to explain. I'm not good at explain. But like, it's not our own personal bias, pretty It's like the bias as a group.
Yeah, I mean, we all have one game in there which, I mean, like I say, man's Quantum Break, I love that game so much.
This list has like all our favorite games in it. And it's just so devastating to see my favorite game in 8th place.
But if you hadn't have been on the podcast, then it would not have even been on the list.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Which, luckily, it's that high up. I didn't expect it to be that high up, to be honest.
So, are we happy to say this is our official list then?
Battlefield is in an awfully low spot, but I can see how it could be there if you look at it in depth. You have to really dig into the game for it to be there, but it can be there. And comparing to the other games on this list, it's a tough battle. So
Yeah. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this list.
I'm okay with it.
Right. So, number 1, Overwatch. Number 2, Quantum Break. Number 3, Uncharted 4. At 4, Dark Souls 3. That's weird. At 3 is the number 4, then at 4 is number 3. At 5, Inside. At 6, Firewatch. At 7, Superhot. At 8, Formula 1 2016. At 9, Battlefield 1. And at number 10, Pokemon Sun and Moon. So that's been fun.
There you go. It only took an hour and a half. But we've got 10 games in order.
There you go.
I tell you what, guys. Last year when we did this, we recorded on a Saturday, I think it was, and it took 7 hours.
Oh my god.
So that was fun. So
But, yeah, from an outside perspective, I can see how all these are in their place.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
they're
you
all
have
good
to-
games.
You have to remove your own personal bias and just be like, yeah, I get why that's there.
Yeah, if it was by personal bias, Formula 1 would be at the top. Because I'm obsessed with that game. But from an outside, removing all my personal bias and thinking with the group, I can see how this game is, or how this list is good. Which it was tough. It was tough seeing how which I feel Overwatch.
Yeah, I think
'Cause-
it just has to be.
Because there was nothing bad to it, which is a thing. There was nothing bad to comment about. It's a good comment. And I've played the game, and it is pretty fun. Like, you get sucked into it. And it's just... It's worth it. It's worth playing. It's worth putting high up on the list.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking,
And to be honest...
one game that I've completely forgotten, and do you know when you just can't even remember the name of the game? It was a PlayStation VR game, like a rhythm sort of game where you're a big robotic bug. Thumper, that's the one, Thumper.
Oh yeah, that's a good game too.
I love that so much. Yeah,
That's
just
a
like,
really good game.
yeah.
Job,
Oh, well.
Job Simulator seemed like a really good game, too.
No, I didn't like that.
You didn't
You
like
didn't
Job
like Job
Simulator?
No.
Job Simulator is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Are you one of these
If we were
people?
to start talking VR for top 10, you need a whole separate top 10 because VR games are
Yeah,
a
we
whole
do.
different category.
Yeah. But Thumper you can play without VR headset, which was probably good because then you don't get the headaches and the blurred vision and nausea and
Or like the pain to your wallet.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's of more import.
So Wolfgang, have you played much of the PlayStation VR?
I have, yeah, just at events and stuff like that. Although actually, I've done more Vive and Oculus than I've done of the PlayStation. But I did do Farpoint, I think it was what it was called. They were showing that at E3 this year, and that one, it used the like PlayStation gun controller, which is like the kind of little like rectangular thing.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. That was some of the most fun I've ever had in VR was on that, which was the PlayStation system. Why do you ask?
No, because like, there's a lot of people hyping it up, and I've played with the Oculus a couple of years ago now, and I was super unimpressed with that. The field of view around your eyes, it just looked like you were looking through binoculars. You know, you could see like black everywhere.
This was the Oculus or the PlayStation?
That was Oculus.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loved the Oculus.
The Vive... True, I only played that once at an event, and it looked like something from like the Half-Life sort of like world, you know, with the white backgrounds with things flying towards you. You got to shoot them, and that I just didn't think it looked good, but it might have been the demo. And then like we had a PlayStation VR, and I played like 20 games on it, and a lot of them were quite fun. One game made me sick, and that was Drive Club VR.
Oh,
that was rough.
I personally love the Vive, but that might be because of the first game I played on it, which was Fallout 4 in VR.
Oh yeah.
And Fallout 4 alone is a good game, but in VR, having stuff like I think a Deathclaw charged through me once, and I got scared, and the guy laughed at me. I just heard him laughing really hard in the background because a Deathclaw charged through me, and I wasn't used to that experience. And the guy was mean. He kept laughing at me.
Yeah, I mean, VR is like immersive enough and intense enough, especially like if you're not used to it. It can like be pretty scary because like your brain is pretty sure it's real, and so like you'll like shriek or jump around, and then the person who's watching you in real life, yeah, exactly, they'll make fun of you because you look silly wearing a big headset.
Nothing's more fun than teleporting like half an inch from a wall.
Yeah, I will say one thing though. The only game on the PlayStation VR that has made me go, that looks quite good. Because to me, the PlayStation VR is really cheaply made.
Yeah,
isn't it like everything,
plastic piece?
Yeah, everything that you look at, it's all slightly distorted and blurred. But the Batman game, when you were up on top of the ledge, you can look down, and it looked really detailed. You know, or when you were Bruce Wayne as a little kid and his family gets killed, you're literally the height of your parents' hips. So these two people are towering above you, and that it just made you feel as though you were within the game. So I can see that the future would be good, but I still think we're a good 5 years away from the technology being cheap enough to make.
Yeah, because isn't the Vive like $600 or something like that?
I think it's more than that. I think it's more. I think it's like 600 quid.
I think the Vive is like $800, yeah.
On top of that, you need a computer that can run those games.
Yeah. Or you can buy... If you buy I think it's an Oculus... So I think they provide a PC and the Oculus headset. I think it's like $1,500.
Which, I guess for a PC, that's not super bad, but you're getting the Oculus.
But yeah, I think it's all a bit expensive at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, episode 190. Before we go, I would just like to say, hopefully we've sounded clear all episode. With this, we use Zencaster. And if anyone wants to use it, you can go to zencaster.com. You get 20% off by using our code 1UP20. We are also doing a charity dinner in aid of Diabetes UK at the Hilton Glasgow Grosvenor. I'd never know the word. Sort of hotel where it's going to be like £25 a ticket. You get a 2-course meal. Charity gets money. We have John Hare coming up to talk to us, show his new game off, and that should be fun. That's on the 29th of April. Just go onto our website, which is oneupgaming.co.uk, for more details. The code, we've finally given it away. After about 4 months of trying, we've given away the 3DS code. We're on Patreon, which is patreon.com/OUG. We have official merchandise at bluecyborg.com. Just search 1UP Gaming. We have a music CD out. It's called Games Inspired Music. If you buy that from Google Play or anywhere like that, 20% of each sale will go to the Child's Play charity. We have our first 100 podcasts plus exclusives like the Sanspans radio interview on audiobooksontape.com. It's a very long URL. And £1 of that will go to Diabetes UK. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter. They're all just tabs at the top of our website. If you want to tweet us, it's at OUG Official. If you want to email us, it's at contact@oneupgaming.co.uk. And the podcast itself is on iTunes. Please subscribe to us, give 5 stars, positive feedback. It helps when people are searching for podcasts of useless crap. So, thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
And thank you, Wolfgang.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been me, David, from 1UP Gaming, episode 190.
Woo!
Thank you, Joey.
I've got your back.
You've always got a space here. So, thank you all, and we'll be back next week with a regular sort of podcast.
Bye!
Hey guys, Justin here. I just wanted to say that I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you a lot. Yes, you in particular. In that way. And I wanted to say, I think you're great. I've always said that about you. And I was wondering, if you think we're great, if you could give us a quick rating on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it. It would really, really help us out in that, podcasty sort of way. And if you're feeling particularly festive, perhaps even a little saucy, maybe stop by our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/OUG and see if you can't slip a few bucks our way. After all, every little penny or whatever space money they use in Europe helps out the show. Thanks for listening. OUG Gaming will always be free, but with your support, we can always move forward and always be better.